Hi everyone, this is Veronica and today we are going to discuss government is planning to rename the Indian Forest Services. Right, so why they are planning to rename it, we'll discuss in detail. For my video updates, you can follow me on Instagram and the PDF of this lecture will be uploaded on my Telegram channel. So guys, this is the channel StudyIQ. If you're preparing for any government exam, our pen drive and tablet courses are also available. For additional information, you can call on these numbers or you can visit our website. Now, what is the relevance of this particular topic in your exam? So see, at objective level, what is IFS, this service, and what is its mandate? It is important. And at subjective level, IFS and its role in tribal development. So you know about the tribal communities, they are dependent upon forest for their livelihood. What is their role in their development? It is important. So see, first of all, the center has proposed, it is in news because center has recently proposed a pro-tribal measure. So according to government, it is a pro-tribal measure to rename the Indian Forest Services as Indian Forest and Tribal Services, because in its initial name, that is IFS, they did not mention tribal. So it was an inherent concept that definitely if somebody is managing and conserving forests, they have their roles and responsibilities towards tribal people also. But a lot of officials were not properly aware of their performances and duties. So definitely here government is trying to do to aware these officers that their role towards tribal services also. Right, so now the new name they are proposing is Indian Forest and Tribal Services. So before going in detail of the new name, let me tell you, there are two services in civil services. One is Indian Forest Services, it is also written as IFS, and then there is Indian Forest Services. Usually it is written as IFOs, O is written short, but sometimes it is only written as IFS, and there's a lot of confusion whether it is foreign services or forest services, because in forest services you get a home cadre also, but in IFS you do not get a state cadre. It is that you are a representative to different countries, that is Indian Forest Services. So just don't get confused. Here we are talking about the forest services, not the foreign services. Now see why they are thinking to take such a move, because this move follows a directive from, this has been decided by National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. To this effect they have proposed this change, because they have seen that forest, the role, as I told you, there are certain roles and responsibilities of forest service officials towards the tribal, because these are the first point of government contact with the tribal. So different tribes, as you know, there are different tribes in different states of our country. Their first point of contact is who? The forest service officials. But what is seen that the service officials, they don't have proper awareness towards the different problems of they don't have proper awareness towards different problems of the tribal people. So it's not just about the apex officer who's there, because there are different officers, there are rangers also, there are forest officers also. So they work under an IFS officer, and they understand that by IFS they just have to work under the forest officer. They don't consider tribal people their liability, or that they have their duties towards them. So therefore they saying there is no awareness among service officials about different problems. So these tribal people, they have various issues, various problems, so there is no concern among the service officials about them. So in fact the tribal, these people complained about the service officials also, that they do not let them carry the small loads of minor forest produce. See why these people are hindered by or stopped by the forest officials, because when we talk about the forest services, so there are two services for the forest officials. What are these two services? One, they have to management of forest, that they have to manage the forest, and other service is conserve. They have to conservation, they have to conserve the forest. So when they think that our role is to conserve the forest, then why should we let these people take the forest produce for their concern, right? So this is the reason that there is lack of understanding in the officials how they can manage and as well as conserve the forest, including the tribal people with them. So this is where they lack and the complaints from the tribals come, right? So this is the reason that tribals often bear harassment at the hands of such officials. So that is why they are trying to change the name, so that more awareness will be there among the officials. Now see what is about Indian Forest. Now we'll discuss little bit about this service also, because IFS is one of the 3 all India services of Government of India. You know about IAS, Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, then there comes your IFS, your Indian Forest Services. Initially the exam pattern for Indian Forest Services used to be different from IAS and IPS, but now they have a combined prelims exam, but their mains are different. For IAS and IPS you need to give a different mains exam. For IFS there is a separate mains examination, but definitely it is conducted by UPSC and it comes under All India Services of Government of India, right? So when it was constituted in the year 1966, and there was a special act under which it was constituted, that is All India Services Act 1951. But act came in 1951, but it was constituted in 1966. So I told you already, you should know the mandate of this service. So the main mandate is implementation of national forest policy. So whatever the government decides, what will be the forest policy? Obviously, there is management, there is conservation, but our management and conservation policies many times they excluded the tribal people specifically. So that is why there is a problem, lot of concerns and challenges we face, and these people have a lot of problems. They don't get proper help from the government, because in our policies we actually exclude them. We include management, we include conservation, and what more we include is commercialization of the products, right? That is how we are conserving our forest. So this is little bad, but however, what is the duty of IFS officers? The people in this department, they have to implement the national forest policy so that the ecological stability could be maintained in our country through the protection and participatory sustainable management of natural resources. So this is where the contradiction comes, because when tribal people, they come and take away the small forest produce for themselves, the forest officials stop them, because there is a policy of commercialization of minor forest produce. They also have to take this home. So there is a contradiction. There are no clear rules who has to do what, right? So now an IAS officer is totally independent of district administration. He has his own ways, he has his own criteria of doing works. So he exercises administrative, judicial, financial powers in his own domain. So he has his own domain, that is the forest area allotted to him. So he performs all the duties in his own domain, and he is independent of what district administration is doing, right? So earlier, when the colonial government was there, there was no IFS at that time. It was Imperial Forest Services, which was started in 1861, and they functioned under federal government until forestry was transferred to provincial list. So later this forestry was transferred to provincial list by the same Government of India Act 1935. So earlier it was Imperial Forest Services. So thereafter, subsequent recruitment to the Imperial Forest Service. So after it was transferred to provincial list, their recruitment for IFS, that is Imperial, here I is not for Indian, Imperial, it discontinued. So this is all about the IFS officers and why they are trying. So the main reason to change the name here is only one, that the officials should have concerns towards the tribal communities also. But here one thing we should understand, that if we want to conserve the forest, we have to include the tribal communities along with it. We cannot stop them from using the forest resources. For the government, maybe forest is a source of commercialization for them, for the minor forest produce, but for the tribal people, they care for the forest as their own kids, because they are actually living, their livelihood depends upon the forest. For them to save forest is to save their sustainability, to save their survival, right? So we cannot differentiate the conservation mechanisms where we are excluding the tribal people. We have to include them. So definitely just changing the names, it's not going to work. You need to bring in changes in your policies and in your rules and regulations also, right? So this is all about this lecture. For my PDF, you can get it at my Telegram channel. Thank you.